Yazid said that his father, Yazid ibn al-Akhnas, put aside some golden coins as a charity and gave it to someone in the masjid to pay this money on his behalf to the needy ones. Maybe he did not want to embarrass these needy ones because they do not want them to know who is the payer of this money, who donated this money. So when they meet him, they will not feel embarrassed. His son, Ma'an ibn Yazid, went to that man and said, I am in need. The scholars mention two reasons. Maybe he was in need for this money to prepare himself for jihad. He had no enough money to prepare himself to buy a horse or a sword or something like this. And this is one of the things that we can pay charity and even zakah for. Others said no, even though his father was wealthy, he was not wealthy. So he was in need, and he asked this man to give him money. So he gave him the money, the golden dinars. He went back to his father holding the dinars. His father said, I had no intention to give this money to you. I wanted to go to the needy ones. So they went to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They brought the case to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to judge between them. And the Messenger said, you will be rewarded for your good intention, O Yazid. And he said to his son Man, and you are entitled for what you have taken. So from this hadith we learn a lot of things. But the first one, Ma'an said that he قال بايعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وخطب لي وخاصمت إليه. He mentioned that he was and made his oath to the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم to be with him, to follow him. And the Messenger asked for a hand of a lady for him as a khutbah for him. And also he went to the Messenger in a case to judge. And this case is what is mentioned in the hadith. So the first thing that we discuss from this hadith, that we learn from this hadith, can the son or the daughter take one of his parents to the court to the judge? Actually, we have two principles in Islam. The first one, that there is a very great right and very great duty towards our parents. And there is no one deserves to be nice to them as our parents. And their right comes directly after the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can find this in many verses of Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that to worship Him, not to associate anyone with Him, and to be nice to your parents, which is known as birr. And birrul walidain is one of the best deeds that you can do. And the blessings of this birr, you will find the blessings of this birr in the dunya and in the hereafter. And uquq al-walidain, to be mean, the person who is mean to his parents is considered a person who is committing a grave sin. This is one of the sab' al-mubiqat, the greatest or the most dangerous sins. He mentioned one of them, uquq al-walidain. And this uquq could prevent the person from even entering the Jannah. It doesn't matter what other good deeds he was doing. The hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam also confirms on this principle. When a man came to the Messenger and he said, I took my mother to Hajj and I made this compilation around Kaaba while she is riding my back. Would this be enough to pay her back for what she did to me? He said, no. No way. Even this is not enough to pay back a small portion of the pains of your delivery. Another man came to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam and said, would I be able to pay back the rights or the favors of my parents if they passed away? He said, no, you will never be able to do so. So we can understand from this that our parents we have a big duty towards them, and they have a big right upon us. Even if they are non-Muslims, even if they are trying to push you away from your faith, in jahadaka, they are struggling to make you leave the true path, the faith, you cannot be mean to them. The Quran said, don't obey them, but also be nice to them. So this is the first principle. The second thing, that this does not mean that the children or the sons and daughters do not have any rights. No, everyone has his own rights. Because of this, the parents will be responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about their responsibility towards their children. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. And when a man came to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and he said, my son is not treating me in a nice way, he is mean to me, Umar called his son. He said, why you are not nice? Why you are mean towards your father? He said, what is my right? What is the right of the son that his father should do? He said, to choose a good mother for him, and to marry a good lady to be his mother, to give him a nice name, and to teach him the Quran. At that time, these are the rights, and they are still rights of the children. There are others, but these things are the main things. He said he did not choose a good mother for me. He went to get married to any lady who is not good as a mother or a wife. And when he called him Ju'l, which means cockroach. And he never taught me Quran. Umar said, اذهب لقد عققت ابنك قبل أن يعقق. You was bad and mean towards your son before he became mean to you. Anyway, we can understand from this hadith that they went to the messenger to judge between them, which means that there is a case between them. But we have to understand why they went to the messenger. Because the father donated this money, and he wants the full rewards of what he paid. And he considered that when this money went back to his son, it's like paying the money to himself. So when his son took his money, these dinars, he's preventing his father from getting or being rewarded. That's what he understood. The son said, I have the right to take this money because I am in need. If you are giving this money to needy people, and I am one of those people who are in need, why don't they give me this money? So they went to the messenger to judge between them. This does not mean that any son or daughter can take their parents to the court. No, they were not fighting about like a piece of land or something. They were fighting to get the rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or they were arguing about how the father could get the rewards of his charity. And the messenger told them that the father will be rewarded because of his intention, and the son has the right to keep this money because he is in need. But this does not mean that any son or daughter can take his parents to the court unless there is a real good reason for this, that they are very bad to him or not giving him his rights or something like this. And this is in specific conditions. Unfortunately, I heard about cases when some children went to not to the judge, but to the imams to talk about their parents in a bad way, and suing their parents to the imams, which is wrong. While their parents are still paying their tuitions and spending on them, and that's one of the worst things that could the son or the daughter do. Anyway, this does not mean that the children cannot get their rights, but they have to be also doing this in a nice way because their parents have rights to be upon the children, to be nice to them, even if they are trying to make you leave your religion. This is not a good reason to be mean to them, as mentioned in the Quran. Now, the other thing mentioned in the hadith, that the man, the father, gave this money to someone to give it to the needy ones. And actually, we can understand from this that if someone asks you to do something, you will be considered wakil. You are doing something on his behalf. You have to do it as he asked you to do. If he gave you some charity, some money, and he asked you to give it to the needy people, you cannot give it to any other party or any other reason. The only exceptions are specific conditions, that sometimes we can do this in specific conditions, but not in general. In general, we have to follow the guidelines and the, let's say, the will of the donor, the one who is donating this money. If he said this money is for orphans, we have to give it to orphans. This money is for education or healthcare, we have to give it to students or to people who are in need for health or healthcare. We cannot, like if he gave you money to dig a well for people in Africa, you cannot say, I will take this money and donate it to build a school. Unless we cannot dig the well, this area is not suitable to dig a well, but they have a well, they have one, but they do not have a school. In this condition, if we can go back to that person and ask him, now these people have a well, it's not gonna be useful to them to dig another well, but they need a school. In this case, we should ask for his permission. But if we cannot ask for his permission, we can do it on our own. So this is the wakil. The wakil should do whatever al-muwakkil, the one who asked him to do, in the same way he asked him to do it. So the wakil here, the man whom the father gave him the money to donate to the needy ones, didn't do anything wrong, because he said, give this to the poor, to the needy ones, and he gave the money to a needy person. But this needy person, happened that he was his son, the son of the donor. And can the father give the donation to his children or to his relatives, or the person to give his donations to his relatives? Can the man give some donations to his wife, or the wife to her man? Can we do this with the zakah or only with the voluntarily sadaqah? And which is better to give if you have money to donate or charity to give? Should you give it to your relatives or to people who are not related to you, not of your relatives? We will talk about this inshallah rabbil alameen in the next dars. نسأل الله أن يهدينا سبيل الرشاد وأن يوفقنا لصالح القول والعمل إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه وبارك الله فيكم.